Hi, my name is Jacqui and I'm a recovering YouTuber. Right now driving on I-5 from Longview, Washington to Portland, where I'm going to get my hair done. So I figured I would make this video and just give you a bit of an update on some of the things that have changed in my life in the last year, a little over a year. So I traveled from Kenya to Washington on what I thought was going to be a short trip. So I didn't imagine that this would then become my home. But due to certain circumstances, it did. But one thing that I know for sure, and I always say this, I tell my friends, I tell anyone who cares to listen, is that if you believe in a higher power, then you believe that higher power always wants what's best for you and will always try to make that happen if you get out of your own way. And if you believe, because sometimes it doesn't always look as you'd imagine. Sometimes what you think is the straight path that would be the best thing for you is not always the best thing for you. I believe in God, and I believe that God has great plans for me, and He's always delivered. So even coming here, that was one of the things, like making this my home. So much has happened since I came here, so many incredible things. I've taken inspired action. I call it inspired action because sometimes when God tells you what to do or the direction to go, it's often a whisper. And I consider it inspired action because it's very easy to ignore. So I took inspired action to come here to the US and specifically to Washington. I also took inspired action to study real estate and become a realtor, which I have done. And now I was doing real estate in Kenya. So the fact that I've gotten my license for Washington State doesn't make me a new realtor, because this is something that I have done. This is something that I understand, especially from the marketing perspective. I understand from your ability to connect the right buyer to the right property. So I understand that, and I did that in Kenya. And I even taught classes where I taught other people to do the same thing. So now that I'm licensed in Washington, I'm really excited because I have big plans. I don't like to talk too much about my plans before you start to see evidence of them. I think we should keep our plans to ourselves up until we are ready to execute, or keep it to a very closed circle, because when you're formulating your plan, it's very easy for you to get distracted and discouraged. So you want to protect your plan because it's a precious thing. You're the only person who can do it, and you're the only person who understands that desire, that fire that you have. No one else can understand it. No one else has your experience and can see things the way you see them and connect the dots that you connect when you make your plan. So I tend to keep my plans to myself until I'm ready to execute. Then I tell a close circle of my very close friends who will understand, because sometimes even your friends may end up discouraging you, but the ones who I know will encourage me because they are that way. So yeah, so I moved. I now live in Washington. I am in the southern part of Washington, so closer to Portland, about an hour away from Portland, in a place called Longview. That's where I work. I work for Windermere Northwest Living, a huge real estate company that I love for the culture, for the way my colleagues are always so supportive. Like I work with really great people, and I'm very blessed to have the people that I have, both in that I get to work with, the people that I engage with, as potential and clients, but also the fact that I ended up meeting somebody really special, and it was one of those things even I can't believe. We usually laugh about it, because if you think about it, Washington is like the farthest place in the US, like farthest west at the top. I'm in Kenya, farthest east on the equator, and there's a time we measured it's about 8,000, it's over 8,000 miles. And despite all that, we still found a way to connect and meet. Those are the things I'm telling you. Like, you never know what plans God has for you. What you think is your plan, like a really good plan, He usually has something better. So I met somebody who's really incredible, and we have plans too, which I'll tell you about later over time, of course. But we have plans both for our business and, the business that we're going to start together, and life goals. I'm making this video, it's really impromptu. I know I've been very quiet for a long time, but because there've been so many moving parts and so much that I've been working on, that I couldn't just start making videos until I knew that I could be consistent about it. So now I feel pretty comfortable around the things that I needed to get done. Studying for my real estate license was really intense, and I didn't have time to do anything else but that, and also work, because I was doubling and working. But now that that's done, and now that I feel like my head is above water a little bit more. So forgive me if this is a long-winded video. It's not really well thought out, but I just said, let me just get started, because I've been thinking about this for a while. So let me just share some of the things that in my time here I've noticed that are a little different. Like, it's taken me a minute to either get used to it, or I still haven't gotten used to it. It took me a while to learn to drive on the right side of the road. I was like, oh my goodness, how will I do this? When I get to a junction, will I know which direction to go? Or will I end up facing oncoming traffic? It was really scary. But let me tell you, it doesn't take long for you to learn. It just takes it just takes a little bit of time for you to practice. Because once you get into the car and you're driving on the left, you're sitting in the left side, you're driving on the right. When you get into a car where it's a left-hand drive, you can't help but think, oh, okay, this is not the normal, so it makes it a little bit easier. But it took me a minute. And another thing I struggled with, and I don't know if anybody struggles with this, like, let me know in the comments below if you've ever struggled with this. I would find myself leaning too much to one side of the road, and mostly to the right side of the road. Like, I would find myself driving literally like on the line. And a couple of times I hit the curb when I was turning. So that took some getting used to. Right now I'm happy, like I know where the center of the road is. Before, I had to be so conscious. Like, I was, grabbing the steering and just thinking, okay, drive on the correct, like in the middle of the road. And it was a little bit of a struggle. But now I'm okay. So driving on the right side of the road, it took a minute. It took some getting used to. What else did I notice? Yeah, the English in America is different. Let me tell you, for me, there are just certain words that I'm so used to saying. Like, check the boot of the car. It's a trunk. Somebody says, oh yeah, it's in the truck. I'm like, truck, it's a pickup. Things like check, it's not written with a Q. Things that are spelled with, that have S in Kenyan English, Queen's English, are written with a Z. So a lot of the times I'm like, what is, like, sometimes I had to change my autocorrect, because now this is home. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I take this to be my home. So I don't want to be the one trying to make everybody else write the way I write. I'm hoping that my accent doesn't change and that I keep my Queen's English. And if my boyfriend's watching, he knows what I mean. And I find a lot of Americans don't finish the word, so they say it and like almost the last part of the word is like gone. It just gets swallowed into the next word. If you watch movies a lot, then you're good, because then you've been practicing hearing the American accent. But it's still, when you're here and you're listening to it every day, it's still a little bit like, for me, there's still some times when I struggle to understand what somebody has said. So that's another thing. And then I remember reading about how much Washington rains, and I think there are all these jokes that Washington rains 364 days in a year. And I came here knowing very well that it rains a lot, but it's called the Evergreen State for a reason. And one of the things that I appreciate is how green, beautiful forests, huge trees there are here. Like, it's just incredible, the landscape, the terrain. I'm blessed that we live on the Columbia River. So it's right next to the Columbia River. It's really beautiful up there. When I'm driving home, there is the Columbia River. The road follows the Columbia River. So I get the Columbia River for most of the distance on the way home. And it's just beautiful. And then this other side has some areas are cliffy and lots of trees. So it is beautiful. Maybe not so much in the town center and everything. It's concrete jungle. That's its own beauty. But I think Washington is a really beautiful state. And I haven't traveled that much around the US. I've been to New York. I've been to San Francisco, LA. Where else did I go? Oh, I recently went to Nevada, went to Vegas. That was, oh my goodness, I was like a deer caught in headlights. And then we went to Arizona, Scottsdale. That was really nice, beautiful homes and everything, but it's a desert. So I missed Washington, and when we came back, I was like, wow, it feels really nice here. Weather is not that great if you like the sun, but when you get the sun, like in the summers when everyone else in the, in some of the other states are complaining about how hot it is, it's warm, but not too hot. So that's fantastic. So I really love that. Where I'm going, you know what's so funny is I think I missed my turn. Let me pause this and then I'll get back to you. So I did take the wrong turn. Turns out it's hard to drive when you're recording a video and maps don't work. So I took the wrong turn, but I finally arrived and I recorded a video for you as I was getting into Portland just to show you what that's like. So I'm now here. I'm going to get my hair done in a few minutes. Sister locks are hard to find in most places without Black people because it needs this kind of hair. So yeah, I have to come an hour in order for me to get my hair done. But just to continue with some of the things that I've noticed, some of the interesting things about living here, living in the US, living in Washington, is people in Pacific Northwest. So this area is called the Pacific Northwest, and people here are so friendly. They're so friendly, sometimes it makes me think of home. You're driving on a little road and there's somebody walking, or you meet another car, people tend to say hello. You're walking down a quiet street, people say hello when they pass each other. Even in Seattle, if I was lost and I needed to get help, people are so willing to help. Service is incredible because people are really genuinely friendly. They're not just trying or fake smiling, and yes, there are those who fake smile, but the majority of people in the Pacific Northwest, which is Washington, I think Portland, Oregon, I think Ohio, I'm not sure, but Washington are very friendly. And I absolutely love it because I want to be around warm people. I don't want that cold business mode kind of thing. So this has been nice. Another thing I've noticed, and I guess it's in the same line of how friendly they are, is they don't really have boundaries on the info that they tell you. Like if you met somebody, a complete stranger, and you started asking them what I think are intrusive questions, people just answer. It's almost like they have nothing to hide. And I'm like, this is so refreshing. My boyfriend's the same way. Like he's so open. He walks into a negotiation with his money on the table and says, this is what I have. As opposed to trying to negotiate and like go from, let's say if something was $1,000 and you're trying to get it for like say 800 and you have 900, he'll go and put the 900 on the table and say, this is how much I have. Can I get it for this? I would be like, no, you offer 8. Then maybe you meet 859. I mean, the people here are really transparent, which is so cool. One of the things I love is the infrastructure is set up really well. So if you're driving anywhere here, whether you're going out of town, like we drove 21 hours with my boyfriend and one way. And we're crossing these little towns, these places that don't even have names on the map, but they have tarmac. They have infrastructure. There's electricity, there's water, there's internet. That was really cool because there are some places you'll go, like where I come from, and the roads are, even in the city, there are some neighborhoods, just a few minutes out, neighborhoods that don't have tarmac or roads that are relatively large roads that are not well maintained. So it's really nice when you get to see the roads here and how well maintained they are. And as I was driving in Portland, I passed a sign written pothole hotline. So I guess you can call them if you find a pothole to tell them to fix it. Like, why doesn't Kenya have this? Because that line would be busy. But anyway, let me go in and get my hair done. I feel so much better having done this first video, and thank you so much for listening and tuning in and being patient until I made this video. If you've been following me in the past, I really honor you and appreciate you and love you, and I'm just so grateful for you. And if you're just joining, if you're still new, subscribe. I don't know yet what I'm going to turn this channel into. I'm into real estate now and real estate investing, and I don't know where this is going to go, but until I figure that out, I guess I'll just be sharing more videos of what's going on here. How is life like as a realtor? I went to see a couple of listings this morning. There's two houses, they were vacant. So I like to go and see these houses just to see what's in the market and also drive around the neighborhood and familiarize myself, because I'm still learning this area and the roads and using GPS all the time. So it's nice when I get to use when I start to figure out, that road goes to this road and this is the road that connects to the road that leads me home, So it's pretty cool. And I'll share more about that kind of stuff if you're interested. Let me know below. But I look forward to seeing you the next time. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you.